What is up, my friends and fellow BusyBees? I have another episode in the social media series for you today, and I wanted to bring you some of the things that I do and have done in order to strategize my approach to showing up on social media and ideally growing my following. This social media space is a world that can easily take over your whole world. You could lose a whole day on Instagram without even realizing it. Take it from me, my screen time app used to be my arch nemesis because it brought a glaring, horrible reality to light. But if you're offering a service and are selling products, then social media is probably somewhere you really need to be showing up, in some capacity at least. However, there are certain ways that you can be more strategic in your approach to utilizing social media, rather than just letting it be something that you endlessly doom scroll on for hours before bed, or get caught up in during the day when you should probably be doing other, more important tasks that would help move the needle in your business forward, or just be productive in your life overall. And the strategies are things that I have integrated and adapted over time. There are definitely periods where I am more or less intentional with my approach to social media, depending on the season I'm in and the amount of free time that I have or can make in my day. I have 6 approaches and strategies to share with you that you may or may not have thought of that you can integrate into your approach to social media and start implementing today. First up is a very obvious, but sometimes overlooked and forgotten reality. It is to be social on social media. Novel, I know. With the never-ending loop of trying to create the next post, trying to think of ideas to post, looking up trends so you can try and make that post go viral. I think it's super easy to get wrapped up in all of that and forget to use these platforms for what they're made for, getting social. When you get intentional about showing up for the community around you, you'll find that often gets reciprocated and people will start engaging more with your content. Whether that has to do with the algorithm putting your content in front of people that you've been interacting with recently, or is simply due to the fact that people like people who like them, whatever works. And on the plus side, you might end up making a friend or two along the way, which is even better. So don't just hop onto Instagram and post and ghost. Take some time to scroll through your feed, interact with the posts that resonate with you, and support the creators you follow and meaningfully engage with them and their content. After all, they're showing up to serve, teach, inspire, and motivate you. Maybe they're trying to make you laugh. Whatever it is, I can assure you that it took them a long time to get that content to you, so the least you can do is double tap your pointer finger on your way by. I promise they'll appreciate it, and bonus points if you leave a comment, adding to the conversation, or just letting them know that you love it. To keep your time in check, I would recommend setting aside a certain amount of time that you allow yourself to do this because, like I said, it isn't hard to get sucked in and spend way too much time in the feed. Set a timer, do it only until you're finished your morning coffee, or set a time restriction for the app in your phone settings. Something to give you a little wake-up slap saying, hey, that's enough for now, get up and walk a lap. The next thing I recommend utilizing on social media in order to grow, but also to, again, make friendships and find like-minded people that you probably really vibe with, is to join a community or a tour or two that speak to you. These are typically weekly tours where you're put into a group in the DMs and one of the hosts sends a message with the write-up that everyone will use in their caption with a shared hashtag for that week, so you can click into the hashtag and see everyone's post in the tour. A pretty big one, and one that is furniture makeover specific, although there are plenty of them on Instagram, is the Refinished Furniture Tour that's currently hosted by Repix, Restoration Designs Co., and Altered Pine on Instagram. Send one of them a message if you want to join the tour, and they will give you all the details. This is a great way to get weekly inspiration for furniture makeovers, meet new furniture refinishers you may not have come across before, and get your pieces in front of others who haven't seen you before. People often also share posts in their stories of pieces that caught their eye during the tour that week, so it's a great way to show off your furniture flips and potentially get some added exposure to other people's audiences. This can result in more new followers. Granted, the followers may not be local to you, so if you're aiming to grow only a local following to sell your pieces, this may not be the strategy for you. But regardless, you usually get a lot of engagement on your post since so many people are involved in the tour. So that tends to really wake up the Instagram algorithm if you haven't been seeing much action on your posts lately. Some people like to blame shadow banning for that, but just FYI, from the mouth of the creator of Instagram, that's not really a thing, so it's probably just that your posts stop getting so much engagement and so the algorithm stopped prioritizing pushing your posts out. Find ways to get that engagement up and it should help. Which brings me to my third strategy when using social media for my business. I highly recommend taking the time to learn about the platforms that you're choosing to use and learn about them from the source. Don't just follow people on social media who claim to know what the latest update is in the algorithm or how to hack it or how they can get you 2 million followers overnight. Chances are they're either just guessing and hoping it works, or they're straight up lying, or they're getting the information straight from the source. Instead of hoping it's the latter, you can just read that same information yourself. Any platform you use is going to offer FAQ sections, a breakdown of how to use all of the features they offer, and they likely also have some sort of blog where they regularly post updates that you may be interested in knowing about. Could this end up being time-consuming to keep up with? Yes, absolutely. But if you want to post with more intentionality and have to do less volume of posts, but still get big impact and reach, I think it's worth setting up a system and doing it periodically. By setting up a system, I mean, for example, what I tend to do is sign up for their newsletters or email lists, and then they'll send out emails when there's new information and content to read. So I'll click into the emails, and if there's something that looks like it would be useful to me, I'll just mark that email as unread, and then come back to it to read it in more detail later that evening, or maybe when I drink my morning coffee the next day and quickly read through it. But these communications can offer really valuable information about debunking common myths people like to spew about the platforms, answer commonly asked questions, and also introduce and explain new features being added on the platforms. This is helpful for the way that you tailor your social media and content strategy, especially because typically when new features are added to a platform, the algorithm is going to prioritize the accounts that are using those features because they really want to get the word out about them and get lots of people using it so that they can see if it sticks. So keep yourself in the know, be willing to be flexible and adapt when new changes happen, and it will really pay off. A recent example of this is that at the end of May, Adam Mosseri, head of Instagram, wrote a blog post on the Instagram blog detailing how Instagram rankings and algorithm prioritization works. I'll link that in the show notes if anyone is interested in reading it. One functionality or feature in the social media platforms you frequent that may be available to you are insights and analytics, which is my fourth strategy recommendation. Utilize this feature. Review it periodically. Listen to the data it provides. In order to access this on Instagram or TikTok at least, you'll need to have either a business or a creator account versus just a regular personal account. But this provides really useful insights into your posts, your followers, and the interactions between them. This can help you get intentional and strategic with your approach to social media by posting at optimal times so that your posts are seen more widely by your followers, or figuring out which content formats resonate most with your audience. Worth mentioning, though, is the fact that this will only give you information and insight into people who already follow you. So if your goal is to just try and grow your following widely, this may not directly translate to that. However, it would give you good insight into the type of person who follows you and what their habits are, which presumably would extend to others who are similar but have yet to discover you and your content. So if you haven't ever given that section of your account a gander, go check it out and do a deep dive and see what you can learn. My fifth strategy when it comes to social media is similar to the last, but it's just to really take the time to learn and do what you can to optimize every time you go to post so that you can focus on posting quality content that resonates versus just posting a large quantity, spending so much time creating and prepping and posting it, and just hoping something along the way sticks. Because that is a quick route to burnout town, my friend. Now, granted, some degree of experimentation will likely be needed along the way when trying to figure out new content styles or seeing if you enjoy a different format of content creation, but get intentional with this. Treat it like an experiment and take note of the different factors that could be playing into how much the post gets viewed, how much people engage with it, and how much it gets shared. These are great indicators of what is resonating with people and how you can continue to help them moving forward. And yes, I recommend aiming to always help and serve your audience on social media rather than just aiming to go viral. Help them learn something, help them get inspired, help them get motivated, help them forget about their busy day by laughing for a minute. If you're just aiming to follow the trends and appeal to the masses, you're probably wasting your time. But let's face it, social media is a beast. It can take up a lot of brain power and energy to be creating content on there and showing up consistently. If you find that things get busy or you're just feeling a little bit bleh about posting on the feed of your social media platform of choice, just remember that you can always show up in your stories. Stories are an easy, low barrier to entry, low time requirement way to be active on socials without having to do all the planning and fine-tuning everything. Post a picture and let people know what you're working on. Snap a pic of your morning coffee and let people know what's on your to-do list for the day. Make a great meal for dinner. Pop around the stories to inspire others' dinner choice for the night. Jump on and talk about whatever you want. In the stories is a great way to connect with your audience and to allow them to get to know the name and the face behind the brand and the business in a more comfortable, less official, and fine-tuned way. This is how you create connection and have people wanting to tune in when they see that you've posted something new. Don't overlook it. And something you may not know about me, I love little motivational messages. They always get me fired up, and I keep a running list of ones that are especially catchy or speak to me on the Notes app on my phone. So I end every podcast episode with one that I've noted down over the years so that you leave your time here each week feeling inspired, motivated, and ready to take on whatever comes your way this week. So this week's Mel's motivational message is, freedom is not the absence of commitments, but the ability to choose and to commit myself to what is best for me. And this quote really rang true to me. I came across it, I don't recall where, but it was right around the time that I had decided to go full-time in the business. And I was just trying to think about basically like what was important to me, how I wanted to structure my days and set this up, ideally for success, but also so it was something that I enjoyed doing because I saw a lot of the talk on social media and from entrepreneurs that I follow, and they're always like, I left my 9-to-5 to work 24/7, or just talking about how they have horrible work-life balance, how they feel married to their business that they're trying to grow and run, and that did not appeal to me one little bit. I enjoyed the thought of running a business and being my own boss and making the decisions and doing the work and putting in the work that needed to be done, but not at the sacrifice of losing friends or family or connection or free time or sleep or relaxation. Like, I very much prioritize those things in my life, and I wanted to lean into this business and see where I could grow it so that I could create freedom in multiple ways for myself over time. I wanted financial freedom. I wanted freedom of my mind that was very stuffy with negative thoughts and stuff when I was in my 9-to-5 and not loving it. I wanted freedom of time, and I know that that doesn't happen overnight, especially when your business is new. You got to be putting in the work and, hustling a bit, but I kept reminding myself of this, that freedom isn't the absence of commitments. It doesn't mean that you don't have things that need to get done, that things that need to get accomplished, things you need to work towards and strive towards, but you are truly free when you have the ability to choose and commit your time to what you want, what's best for you, and what you see value in pursuing. And I think that has been the biggest thing for me to remind myself of, is that even on the days when I'm feeling negative or like, why am I doing this, or things get tough, I always remind myself that the freedom that I have in my days is something that I couldn't have in any other setup. And it's something that I am constantly like taking a moment of gratitude for in my day, when I can just get up and, go to an appointment in the middle of the day without having to ask for permission. And that freedom to choose and to choose where my energy is going to go has been so freeing. And in social media as well, keep that in mind, that you I always say this, but you are in the driver's seat. You are the person running this side hustle, this business. So there can be best practices out there. There can be things that you hear quote unquote social media experts preaching that you need to do and you have to do if you want to be successful at this. But you can make it whatever you damn well please. I don't recommend not being on social media at all. But find a way to do it that works for you, works for your lifestyle. And there's so many strategies for being proactive on social media and being able to schedule things out. And maybe I'll do an episode on that moving forward of ways that you can get your time back while still maintaining social media, because it kind of is an art form. But you don't have to do anything that you really do not want to do. Find ways to make it work, but you have the freedom to choose and to commit yourself to what's best for you, what's best for your business, and what's best for the goals that you have for yourself. And it's so easy when we see other people on social media maybe showing up more than us or putting in what looks like more effort than us, but you don't know what their goals are. You don't know what they're prioritizing right now in their business. You don't know if they have somebody running the account on the back end. You don't know if they have a team of 4 that's strictly running their social media. And it's easy to make assumptions and to make comparisons. But as we already know, comparison is the thief of joy. So just focus on your own freedom and what that looks like for you and what your success looks like, and compare yourself to your own self in the past and aim to do better than that. And keep your blinders on and don't start looking around, because it's never going to be a useful thing to do. And if you have yet to sit down and think about what freedom looks like for you or what you want to prioritize, I would give you the challenge to sit down this week and to do so, and to really think about and talk through what that looks like for you and what you can do in your life to get you closer to that freedom. What is something that you've been putting off doing, or something that you know would benefit you, but you've been too lazy to just pull the trigger on. Sit down, figure it out, and then make a plan to get yourself there. Because nothing happens if nothing happens. All right, that's it for now. I appreciate your time, and I will catch you guys next week.